Everybody, welcome to Full Bucket List. Let's hope this meal on my next installment of What's Cooking will be on your bucket list. See the ingredients, starting with mincemeat, beef mincemeat, around a kg, mixed vegetables, corn, garden peas, and carrots and green beans, butter, salt, black peppercorns, beetroot, tomato puree, tomato and onion, beef cubes, sugar, white sugar, pesto to make some gravy, some milk, potatoes peeled, 1 onion. Anybody know what this is? This is cottage pie. Alright, the potatoes are about 5 minutes from done. Just checking to see basically how solid they are, if they're cooked. Just stabbing them. Excuse the steam. Right, we're going to drain these and continue to the next. Okay, so the potatoes have been peeled and now they're in the strainer. And as with the previous video when I made spaghetti bolognese, I always heat the kettle first for boiling water. This will be utilized throughout the stages of the meal, and it will be used now to take the starch off these potatoes before I bring to boil. Okay, so I'm going to add some salt to this pot of potatoes. There's just been a little splash of oil. The heater's on full. And we're going to add boiling water and let those boil. Okay, the mince is in the pot. I'm just going to add some more boiling water just to loosen it up a bit. Okay, as you can see, due to the heavy marbling, added fat to the packet of mince. I've added hot boiling water from the kettle, so that the mince isn't too lumpy, and to separate the fat from the meat. Yeah, to each their own. Some like it, some don't. I prefer to have sauce, gravy, not fat. Okay, that's the remaining hot water which I added to the pot, including the oil stroke fat which came off the meat. So now we've got nice brown meat waiting to be seasoned, and more ingredients. Okay, some salt. Don't put too much, you can always add later. Okay, going to add some black peppercorns in the grinder just to give it some more. And turn down the heat a little bit. You hear that sizzling? Right, it's nice and dry now. Going to add some more in terms of onions. Just give that a stir. I'll get that flavour coming through. Can feel the fumes from the onions in my eyes already. Alright, getting there slowly. Just make sure you get rid of all those big lumps, because yeah, that just isn't fantastic when you're eating cottage pie. Okay, going to now add Worcester Maggi sauce, original recipe. Okay. As I said, this is around a kg of mincemeat. So a healthy splash or two of the old Worcester sauce isn't a bad thing. Try another one. Okay. The next ingredient, if you are in South Africa or elsewhere and you enjoy Mrs. Bull's original recipe chutney, which is made from peaches, a good dollop of that. Right, and just mix it all in. If this was Scratch and Sniff TV, you would be really, really hungry by now. The aromas are really coming out through in this now. Next is the tomato and onion. I'm going to put a can in. As I said before, you're looking at a kg of meat. There's enough here for at least four days. If you're a single chap or lady, or on a budget, or you just time constraints and you couldn't be bothered cooking every night. Alright, I'm going to add some tomato puree. You can always add again later stage if you're not happy with the power of the tomatoes. You don't want to overdo it. Rather have enough so you can add again later stage. That's including your salt as mentioned before. Right, so now we've added the tomato. Next would be to add some sugar, just to break down the acids from that tomato. So let's add some sweet to it. Give it all a mix. I'm going to turn the heat up a touch more. Get this going. Right. Next thing I'm going to add is this stock which I made from the stock cube, which is the brand Knorr. You can also use another one which is pretty popular called Oxo, which you unfortunately don't have in South Africa. You can purchase at the South African or the English shop, but you're going to pay quite substantial amount. So if you're on a budget, that may not be on your agenda. So this has been mixed with some Bisto granules powder, just to thicken it up as well, give it some added taste. You can see some more colour now, it's looking good. Okay, next, going to put the mixed vegetables in here, which are frozen, and I've got salt and boiled water from the kettle. I'm on about 3.5 liters already of kettle boiled water, so just keep refilling the kettle because you're going to need it throughout the meal. I've added salt, and so now I'm waiting for this to boil. Gonna throw the veg in, just parboil, and then I'm going to throw it into the meat, which is right there. It's looking very good so far. So some like to do them, mix the veg in the meat, and some prefer to add to the meal later on separately. That's up to you, those options. Okay, so the mincemeat is now cooked. I've parboiled the mixed veg, which I'm going to add to the mince. It's looking so good. Oh, it's going to be fantastic, this. I'll just mix that in. I've also taken some of the meat out of the pot along with the gravy, which I'm going to utilize at a later stage, so I can place that gravy on top when I'm done. Can always add more gravy and meat to the pot should it be deemed necessary. Right, so while that's happening here, I'm going to go into the next stage and start to pulverize and smash and mash the boiled potatoes. I'm going to add butter. You can also add garlic butter should you decide. You can also add parsley for some color, and some milk. If not, add some cream. Depends on your palate and your budget. Okay, here we go. We're at the stage now for the butter and the mashed potatoes. So depending on what you would like and your budget, once again, I'm going to add that amount. I'm going to follow that with a couple of dashes of milk, or a pouring of milk. You don't want it to be too wet, because then it's sloppy and you don't want that. So let's do this. Let's get the consistency right, and then you can stick it in a Pyrex dish and throw it in the oven and brown the top, which is the tradition. One thing you should definitely not make: the sacrilegious mistake of naming this shepherd's pie. It is not shepherd's pie, it is cottage pie. Reason being, it's utilizing beef, not lamb. Okay, so that's the difference. Just remember that when you order at your restaurant, if you want cottage pie, you want beef. If you want shepherd's pie, it's going to be lamb. Some also like to have cheese on the top of their cottage pie when it goes in the oven. I prefer not to. Alright, I'm going to sprinkle some parsley into this generously, because it's adds a lot of color and a touch of spice, yeah? Herbs at least. Okay, just remember to make sure that you add hot potatoes to your pot. Make sure the boiled potatoes are still warm. It just helps with your mashing. And of course, when you are adding butter, it just helps with the mashing, because yeah, you don't want it lumpy. At the same time, you don't want it to be like slop. So you just got to find that right consistency and just add when need be. Just get your elbow going here. Okay, the potato is just about ready to be settled into the Pyrex dish on top of the mincemeat. I've utilized 2 kgs of potatoes and around a kg of mince. So just so that you can gather, how long this will take to consume. Should you be very, very hungry, if you're a small family, it should do for one meal. If you're on your own, depending on your appetite, you can stretch this for 3 days, I would say. Possibly even 4, depending on your appetite. Okay, look at this bad boy waiting to be dished up, huh? Wow, look at that color. Awesome. Okay, going to now put this into the Pyrex dish and then add the potato on top. I'll put the oven on, or at least the grill, so long to just get that hot and ready so we don't waste any more time. Okay, here we go. Going to transfer this and see how far this goes. Sometimes it makes 2 actual dishes, a smaller variety, or shall I say a smaller variant, which you can give to your neighbor, your mom, your dad, brother, sister, whoever you want. You're feeling generous, or stick it in the fridge and eat it later. Right, so considering I've still got a substantial amount left, and as well as that, a big jug of gravy. You can see the mince in there. Alright, there must be around 3/4 of a litre to a litre there. Okay. Okay, next on the to-do list is to add this potato. We're obviously going to add it accordingly, as we still have leftover meat to make yet another cottage pie. Right. You can see the consistency of the mashed potato. It's got a sticky feel to it, which enables you to mold it into positions you want, and the layer. So this is where you want to be at, this consistency. Okay. Right, look at that. Perfect. You want to be able to just put it into various positions in your Pyrex dish, and then you can play with it later in terms of your layering and thickness. Okay, look at that bad boy, it's stuck to the spoon. Alright, you can see I still have a substantial amount. So what I'm going to do now is use a fork and just basically make my way around the dish, smoothing it out, making little mountains which will catch the grill and give it that uneven texture when it's browned. Obviously you don't want it to be left too long under the grill and go black. So as you can see, the layer tends to have been spread out, and I could do with a little bit more, I think. So we're just going to add a bit more potato, because we like potato, don't we? Alright, so we can add those to the dish and just make it a little bit thicker in areas. There we go, look at that. You don't just want a meat consistency, you want the best of both. You want the potato and the meat. Alright, And that's the beauty of having always too much. You can always add. So always have too much, then you don't get disappointed. Right. Okay, so we're at the stage now of placing this in the oven to brown the top with the grill on. If you do desire more in terms of color, you can sprinkle some more parsley on top. How about that? Right. Okay, and there you have yet again a smaller version of cottage pie with the leftovers from the ingredients. So there you go. You can now give this to someone special or eat it yourself. Sprinkle some parsley. There you go. There's a thumbs up. Guys, if you wouldn't mind, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, shares, likes, and if you don't mind, please subscribe. Thanks so much, and I will show you the end result soonest. Okay, there's the result. It's been in the oven for about 5 minutes under the grill on full. Just open the door once in a while just to check. And there you go. The second one's in the oven now, whilst we wait for this to settle for a few minutes, and then dish up. Okay, here we go. It's dished up, and I've garnished it with some sliced beetroots on the side, the added gravy as you can see, and here we go. Bosh. Thanks guys, please not forget to subscribe. It's really, really important to me. Thanks so much. Cheers.